With Fergie's first album in a decade being finally out, Double Dutchess, I'm hearing a lot of people saying that they miss the old Fergie. Whoa, come on, not that old. Now that's better. What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the first album in over a decade by American singer and rapper Fergie. Fergie. The new album, Double Dutchess, is out now, and it's the follow-up to The Dutchess that came out in 2006. Now, I remember this album being everywhere when I was a teenager. I had friends that enjoyed some of the songs. I had a couple that for a while were but honestly, at this point, there's not really like many of those songs that I can come back to and be like, yeah, that was kind of my jam for a while. I mean, I know the songs, but they're not ones that I'm drawn to. Now, I definitely admire, I guess, not in a guilty pleasure type way, because I don't really personally believe in guilty pleasures, but I kinda am occasionally drawn to some of the Black Eyed Peas stuff, some of the lively, more fun stuff that didn't really seem to take itself too seriously, and that's whenever I really enjoyed Fergie. I think she's somewhat talented as an MC. She can sing, and that's clear. She makes that known on several tracks here. But the problem with Double Dutchess, and the main reason that this album just doesn't work as a whole, is because there is no cohesion here. It just feels like a bunch of songs stacked one after another that were just built up over the past 4 years, and then it finally gets released. I mean, just look at the list of producers over here. Look how many people tried to make this all fit together, jamming puzzle pieces down somebody's throat. It doesn't work like that. That's not how you make a track listing. Fergie spends the entire time on Double Dutchess riding the line between being Colby Calais and a soft pop rock singer and just being an explosive in-your-face badass MC. And you can't be both, and it doesn't come off convincing. And even on some of these tracks, like Life Goes On, she tries to blend the two, and the rapping on that is just horrid. I promise I did like aspects of this album, but I have to get some of these criticisms out of the way first. The album opens up on this awful 1-2 punch of just gut-wrenching awfulness. You just get really pulled down into the bog of the mire right away, and you're thinking, am I ever going to get out of the thick of the woods, or am I just gonna stay lost in this forever? The opening track samples a 1987 song that was used for a film score, and it repeats Hungry pretty much over and over again. Think like Pound Cake by Drake, where the vocals are kind of chopped up, cut together, and used to make a beat, except nails on a chalkboard version. That's Hungry, as we get Rick Ross coming here as kind of a hype man for Fergie's album. And it doesn't work. It kind of falls flat on its face, although I will say that I'll take Rick Ross over Fergie on this one, because by the time her part of the song comes in, I've already been listening to this god-awful screech of a beat that I'm sure sounds fine in the context of the film, or just listening to the instrumental song, because guess what? There's actually some regression there because the song moves on. Instead here, we're forced to just listen to this repetitive beat over and over with that added clicking bass to try to give it some sort of a trendy trap buzz. Like It Ain't Nuttin' follows that up and seemingly tops it as even being more toxic on this album, because after track 1, I'm thinking it doesn't get much worse than this. But here we go into Like It Ain't Nuttin'. Stop! Once again, we're back to the sampling here. This time she's sampling Salt and Peppa and putting together this really weird throwback, vintage, collage tribute to the 90s apparently, and her love for hip-hop of that time. Well, if she loved that, this is killing that, because it's all like stabby pianos that are weirdly juxtaposed with the music and the rapping here. And then seemingly, maybe she was coming together with some cohesive ideas lyrically, she just breaks into this weird thing about just telling girls to empower themselves by rubbing on their tits. As we keep going through the track listing here, we have awful generic songs like the painfully boring A Little Work, where Fergie just reminds everyone that, you know, we all could improve ourselves a little bit. So you've got the stereotypical cheesy adult contemporary song in check, and then she follows up later with kind of the more experimental Enchante featuring Axel Jack, which is a very odd song, especially the chorus. I could get on board with the instrumental. I think that's probably the best thing about this album in general, is that a lot of the instrumentals, it actually seems like the effort was there. I already mentioned the track earlier, Life Goes On. I like the instrumental there. I even like some of the verses, but Fergie always manages to find some way to fuck up whatever she had going. Now, Fergie actually had a bit of an accomplishment going on her hands. She hadn't even officially confirmed her album Double Dutchess yet. In the past 3 years, she had landed 2 songs in my worst songs of the year list. We're talking about LA Love in 2014, and then again last year with MILF. An awful song. She was apparently inspired to write this as she is now a mother, but it comes across as this super repetitive song that I guess you could get inspired by that. I guess you could aspire to one day be Fergie in that situation when you're a mother, but I don't even know what else to say about it. If you want to see me talk more about that song, look up my worst songs of 2016. Why the hell is LA Love on this album? I mean, yeah, she recorded it. I guess we're just in the day and age where you're like, okay, that song got some streams, so we have to let those streams kind of count towards my first week album debut, so it has to be on the album. But this song came out 3 years ago and is produced by DJ Mustard. Do you remember when he was a thing?
What's that on that beat, ho?
Well, his moment in the sun is definitely fading by now, and obviously this song is irrelevant, and here it is popping up on this album Double Dutchess, sounding dated as fuck. I never liked it in the first place, but damn, does it stick out now. Okay, before you crucify me in the comments, yes, I'm exaggerating a bit. I mean, obviously I'm playing things for a comedic angle here because I think the album is awful. But really, what did this album have? What saving graces does it have? Because honestly, I don't see a ton. And enjoying a lot of Fergie's stuff, especially with the Black Eyed Peas in the past, it's disappointing because she has talent. And like I said, I enjoy parts of these songs, like Just Like You. I like how she gets a vibe going there. I just don't think that she flows well on You Already Know with Nicki Minaj, and the song goes on too long, and she has this weird thing where she has a little voice that pops up and says Double Dutchess, and it's like she's trying to make something cohesive with this 57-minute album, but nothing else implies that other than like the little interludes and exitludes that are tacked onto these songs. It just feels a bit weird because you're like, okay, am I listening to some sort of concept that's tying things together? And then you have songs that are years old popping up in the track listing and other ones that just completely throw it up. I mean, just look at the track listing here. We go from harder rap songs like the first 4, and then we go to A Little Work and Life Goes On, straight back into MILF, and then right into Save It Till Morning, another slow song about having a fight with a lover and then them just saving those thoughts until the morning because they think it'll pass. And okay, innocent enough, acoustic leaning song, but still, it's a meh. Enchante definitely has a cool beat going on, like I mentioned. I definitely have to give credit where credit is due, and Fergie sounds pretty good in parts of that song, but it isn't until the very end of this record, the last song, the closing moment, Love Is Pain, that we actually see Fergie's talent. And honestly, this might be one of my favorite pop songs of the year. This is powerful. It has a guitar solo, it has a lot of raw instrumentation, and her voice soars. Where was this on the album? Where is the talented Fergie? Because I see it right here, and I truly believe that there is talent packed into her. It's just that her trying to go with whatever trends or whatever else it is, it's not working, and her playing it safe on the slower songs isn't working either. The tame or else the super rough that just feel out of her element, she just didn't really fire on all cylinders throughout the album Double Dutchess. But this closing moment is definitely a saving grace and gives me hope for the future. And I don't hate every single song on here. I admit that some of them have a fun quality to them, and you could definitely listen to them in certain situations. But as far as sitting down, listening to an album, does this album have that? Does it grab you? No, definitely not. I mean, who is asking for reggae-leaning Fergie on Love Is Blind? That was just a disaster. Please, please, never again, Fergie. Fergie Ferg, as you said on this very album, we could all use a little work. maybe your album could have used a little bit more. I think I could have waited another 4 years. I know it had been since 2013, since you said you were back in the studio doing another one. I think we could have waited another 4 years if we had gotten some more quality tunes, because you showed us, you gave us a little bit of a spotlight. It's like being in a basement and you can see like out that one little window, you know, that they always see in horror movies whenever somebody's locked in the cellar and they can see out of that one window. I feel like we're looking out of that one little window there in the basement saying, there it is, there's the light. We're gonna get out. It's gonna be all okay. And then it just cuts to the credits and that's it. Could have been a lot worse, I guess. Some of the songs are okay. The instrumentals throughout are pretty catchy, and I can't hate on every single thing here, but for the most part, this is not for me. This is not even really, I can't recommend this to pop or R&B or hip hop fans, because it's a little bit of everything, but not enough good stuff of any of those to really suggest and say, hey, check out Double Dutchess. For me personally, I'm gonna give this a light 2 out of 5. This was my take on the album. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments section down below. Please leave a like on the video today because I need them. I feel like there's going to be a lot of dislikes on this video. Anyways, a couple of recent videos floating right here below me that I think you might be interested in. And if you're able to, please support me on Patreon. The annotation in the corner, socials in the description, and I'll see you very soon right here on ARTV.